Before we move on to the next ribbon tab, we need to create a simple project schedule to make the navigation exercises more meaningful. We will create a simple painting project schedule. Our case study company, the Dressage Delights Horse Treats Company, needs a new color scheme for the corporate offices. Thus our first project is to paint a room at the corporate office as part of testing for a new color scheme. We are now going to enter a short list of simple tasks for this paint project. To do this, I'm going to click on the cell for the task name and I will enter in the first task name. So I click on the cell for task name in row 1 and type in Select Color Scheme. And I will press enter and then go down to the next task. The next task is Deliver Supplies and I'll press enter. Then third task is Set Up Room and I'll press enter. Fourth task is Paint Room. I'll type that and press enter. Fifth task is Cleanup, and pressing enter takes me down to the last task in our sample project, Review by Management. Those of you who have never used Project before may have noticed that this is just like entering a list in Microsoft Excel. I'm now going to move up to the top of the next column and enter in durations for each task. Using the keyboard, I'm just going to use the cursor keys to walk up to the first row's duration cell, and for the Select Color Scheme, the duration will be 1 week. I will type 1W to enter that, and I will press the Enter key to move down to the next row. For supplies delivered, the duration will be 4 hours. I'll type 4H for that task duration. Room setup will take 1 day. I will just type 1, as day is the default setting for duration. Room painted is 2 days. Again, I'll just type a 2 and press enter. Cleanup is going to take 4 hours, so I'll type 4H and press enter. And the management review is going to take a day, so I'll just type a 1 and press enter to get a duration of 1 day. Now, you may have noticed that as I typed in the durations for each task, the start date stayed the same, but the finish dates all changed to respect the durations, as did the length of the Gantt chart bars. Our next step is to set up the project's start date. To do that, we'll need to go to the Project tab. I'm going to click on the Project tab and select the Project Information command button found there. For this exercise, we're going to set the start date as October 1st for the year 2012. To do that, I click on the drop-down menu button for the Start Date field, and for me, I need to scroll ahead a little, but for you, when you do this exercise, you'll be scrolling into the past. Sorry we can't time shift everything, and for your information, throughout this course, we're going to be using October 1st, 2012 for a number of the case study problems. One of the reasons for using that date in the past is it's the first day of the month and it's a Monday, which is helpful in demonstrating a lot of the duration features. Secondly, with the date being in the past, you won't mistake the case study projects for any real projects you may be working on. It will also help demonstrate the importance of the 5 keys approach in creating dynamic project schedules. As you'll see later on, simply changing the start date will move your entire project forward if you've done a dynamic scheduling approach as we teach in this course. Again, for the case study exercise, please select either the date from the control menu, as we just demonstrated, put in the October 1st date, or simply type 10/1/2012 and press enter. Both ways work. Okay, now that we have our project start date set, the next thing we're going to do is link our tasks. To do that, we are first going to select the Task tab from the ribbon to expose the linking commands that we will need. And then next, I'm going to highlight our task list to select them all for being linked to one another in sequence. I do that by clicking on the first task and then dragging down with my mouse. Then, to link the tasks that have been just selected, I'm going to click the Link button in the Schedule section of the Task tab. Notice that the Gantt bars on the chart side of the schedule view have all aligned themselves in sequence. If this is the first time you've ever used Microsoft Project, what you have just done should strike you as quite impressive. A couple of tasks, a couple of clicks, and bam, you have a schedule for the Dressage Delights Corporate Color project. Now, the next thing you may notice is that the start and finish dates change to reflect the sequence in which they will occur. But they also look a little crowded. To fix this crowding, an easy way to do that is to find the edge of the column field you wish to change the width for. In this case, the Start column. So we're going to double-click on the edge of the title row for this column, and it will automatically adjust its width to align with the width of the start dates. Well, now the problem is we can't see all of the finish date column. In order to be able to see that part of the Gantt chart table, we're going to need to click and drag the window pane splitter over to the right. To do that, I will simply point at the window pane, click and drag, and get the split arranged so I can see the edge of the finish column. And then I'm going to move a little bit past so I have a room to adjust the width of the finish column. And this time, to adjust the column width for the finish column, I'm going to do it a little differently. I'm just going to point at the finish date field column heading and then right-click to expose the shortcut menu. And from the shortcut menu, I'm going to select the Best Fit command. Okay, well, we have the start and finish date column widths adjusted, but we need to make another adjustment. I need to be able to see more of the finish date column because it's hidden under the splitter. So I'll go back to the window pane splitter and click and drag the split to see all of the finish date column and just a little bit more to the column that is the right of the finish date. Okay, now we have a nice fit for our schedule for the information that we want to be able to see. When done, your screen should look something like you see here on my screen. If you are successful in creating the schedule, you should see that the color scheme test starts on October 1st at 8 a.m. and finishes on the following week on a Friday, October 12th at 5 p.m. With our Dressage Delights Horse Treats Company color scheme project in place, we're now ready to return and go back to complete our review of the Microsoft Project Ribbon tab Essentials. We'll pick up where we left off at the View tab on the ribbon. But before you move on to that lecture, please make sure you've done this exercise on your own and you were able to calculate the same start and finish dates you see here. If you did not get that result, go back and review this video and redo the exercise again until you get the same results. You'll need to be able to do that before you can continue to move on in the course. That's all. Good luck.